So what we're gonna be doing today is gonna be planting us some peanuts. That's all we're doing is taking those peanuts there. Now you could plant the whole shell and all, and then it'll eventually work its way through it and germinate. What I like to do is pop the peanuts out of the shells and I'll let them soak on my heat mat for about 6 hours. You can see the difference in how they look when they've been on that heat mat and soaking in water 6 hours. Now, ideally, we want these 18 inches apart, but today we're gonna be planting these 15 inches apart, and that's gonna give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 15 in this bed. And that's pretty much all we're gonna use. Now, you might be asking, why am I using peanuts? One is because I like to make fertilizer out of these. Once you get the oil out of the peanuts, you can use it in what we call ground nut. So what that is basically the oil from the peanuts have been extracted, and then we take the waste, and that's like a 722 fertilizer that we can use in the garden. The normal planting space that you want for your peanuts is going to be 18 inches, but we're just going to do 15. And peanuts are really unique in the way that they're developed. You think that it's going to come from the roots of the plant, but no. Flowers form, and those flowers drop over to the side and they attach themselves in the soil. And from there, that's where they root the peanuts. Like I said, I've already done my indentures in the soil where I want to put the peanuts at. So what I want to do is basically about 1.5 inches into the soil. That pointy side is going to go down, and then we're going to just cover that up. Now, normally what I would do is mulch the entire bed, but because of the unique nature of the peanuts, we're not going to be able to mulch this bed. But what's going to happen is over time, the peanuts are going to cover the entire bed. Now, what peanuts do like to grow best, it's like a sandy soil. So what I have here is my compost mixed in with it, but it's also a lot of leaf litter. Now, what I am banking on is that our cat Marcello is going to keep the squirrels at bay, because once the squirrels find out that we have nuts over here, we won't be able to keep them out of the garden. The peanuts are in the legume family, and legumes are like your string beans, your peas, and things of that nature. The name that people usually call it most around the world are called ground nuts. We were in South Georgia and I picked up a bag of these, and what we didn't eat, I decided to go ahead and plant them. They love that heat. It usually takes about 5 days for them to come up if they're not in the shell, but if you were to do them in the shell, it'd probably take anywhere up to 15 days. So we're just doing it the easy way. There's so many different things that we can come up with in the garden, and that's what I love about it more than anything. We can look at the peanuts for what they are, or we could use a little bit of our imagination and make it a little more than what it's meant to be. Because again, peanuts are legumes. They fix nitrogen into the soil, but also when that nitrogen is built up, it goes into the seeds or the beans themselves. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using these peas and the beans or the peanuts, and we're going to be making fertilizer out of them, because that's where the nitrogen is. So all we're going to do now is just water these in. That's all we're going to be needing. If you come down and look real close, you'll see where those pegs have started to attach themselves in the soil. See right here? That's where your peanuts are actually made, from these pegs. See that? That's attached in the soil. See that? That's what makes the peanuts. And you can come around, look everywhere around here, and you're gonna see those pegs going into the soil. That's where your peanuts are made. And all we're gonna be doing over here is, put my gloves on, we're just gonna be spreading some compost over here to give them a little feeding, because we probably have a couple of weeks before it's time to harvest, or as that cold comes in. We're in the middle of October right now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some bone meal into our compost, also add some worm castings into our compost. We have our alfalfa pellets, which is a 3-2-1 on the NPK. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna powder up some of our alfalfa pellets and make it into a meal. And then we're gonna take that. We're gonna mix that all into our compost. It's not gonna take a lot. And we've already powdered some of our eggshells. So we're just gonna add that in for our calcium. Do a handful of our worm castings. We're going to use our bone meal for our phosphorus. We have rhizobium bacteria already in the soil. So the only thing that we want to do is add these nutrients back in there. And then we're gonna go ahead and rinse this in to wash everything off and get it back down to the soil. And this is pretty much the last thing that we're gonna be doing to our peanuts before we harvest. But you can look at these things and look how beautiful they are. Now, the peanuts, again, we're making our peanut meal with them, so you wanna stick around, watch the channel. Also, we're gonna be doing oils with it. So it's multiple things that we're gonna be doing with our peanuts on top of, I love some peanut butter and jelly growing out the box.